She was a dancer and choreographer, a teacher, activist, and anthropologist.
Well, in honor of Women's History Month, WGN's Gaynor Hall takes a look back at the incredible life of Katherine Dunham and how her legacy continues to move people.
Yeah, so it's nice and smooth. Dance is breathing for us. And breathe. And breathe. There's rigor in it, but there's also joy and release. Boom, contraction, release, da-da-da-da-da.
At the Red Clay Dance Company studios in Woodlawn, across the floor, it's a progression of movement.
Hang time, boom.
Progress through movement.
It's from within, and it's something that we carry in our DNA. She was a trailblazer. She was brave. She was extremely intelligent. She understood her inner power, and she accepted the call. She knew that she had a greater purpose for what her art was supposed to be.
Katherine Dunham was born in Chicago in 1909. She was 21 when she started one of the country's first black ballet companies in the city. She studied at the University of Chicago, focusing on anthropology and dance of the African diaspora. Her research took her to the Caribbean. This is video she took in Haiti.
She was very intentional about not just studying the movement, but understanding the function of it. You know, we did the Dunham walk at the beginning of class. And do 1, 2, nice. That was from her seeing the women go to market.
She learned new movement vocabularies, but she really learned to approach dance in a different way when she went to the Caribbean. So the Dunham technique is both a series of a movement vocabulary that has these fusion elements, but also she described it as a way of life. There are all of these ways that Dunham technique is a part of the story of Black culture in the United States and the broader African diaspora that goes beyond the physical movement.
Her technique, which is totally different than what any of us had ever had. But even today, it's different. It's a whole, she really created a technique that is unique unto herself.
In a nation where there had been no path for black dancers, Dunham formed this country's first black dance company and took them all the way to Broadway and Hollywood.
She just got into the center of your body, and I will tell you something. There wasn't one part of your body that didn't move. It was extraordinary.
Katherine Dunham and her dance company received enthusiastic reviews from both critics and audiences. They toured throughout the United States, Latin America, Europe, and Dunham didn't just receive praise for her dancing and choreography. She was recognized as a scholar and anthropologist.
She just was interested in other things. This was a very intelligent woman.
Dunham broke down dance barriers, blending her unique dance movements with other genres such as ballet. But she often found herself on the front lines of discrimination, performing in theaters where she herself would not be allowed to buy a ticket. In 1944, at a performance in Louisville, Kentucky, the crowd cheered for more after the curtain closed. But instead of an encore, Dunham announced to the all-white crowd that she and her company would not return until people like her could sit with people like them.
And do you realize how hard that must have been? At that time, she was really breaking all kinds of barriers, and she was going out on a limb, and she was putting herself up there, going against the tide. And this was a very difficult time, and she was one of the first.
I think that people have lost something. They've lost the idea of what dance is. You know? Everybody seems to be in it just for a matter of personal pleasure. And there's more to it than that, you know.
Such as what? What are
such as expressing the your culture, expressing the meaning of your life, the meaning of the people that you came from, the meaning of your family and your roots and that kind of thing. Dance does this, you know. It's in there. We just have to take it out and use it.
Going back to the 1930s, popular entertainment in America did not have jazz dancing as we know it today. Jazz dance took shape as social dances like the Lindy and Charleston, and tap dancing was what was performed to jazz music. Jack Cole is generally seen as the first popular choreographer who pulled from influences of modern dance, East Indian dance, and swing social dancing to create a signature movement style useful for increasingly sophisticated nightclub revues and Hollywood films. But he soon drew on his creative ability to change how dance was utilized in Hollywood films, with breakthroughs in camera work, set design, and of course his signature movement style. Cole had to balance creating dynamic dance sequences with the requirement to feature close-ups of the female dance stars. In the mid-1940s, he created dances for the film siren Rita Hayworth. He used more social dance movements in her 1945 film Tonight and Every Night. Not only a choreographer, Cole also created his dancers with a training regimen that included daily classes in ballet, modern dance, acrobatics, flamenco, and Lindy swing dance. Although Jack Cole was the seminal figure in creating a theatrical jazz dance style, he never had a big hit show that propelled his name into stardom. Cole also increasingly devoted his film career to dances that boosted female dance stars, so that the female was what was remembered, not Cole's name as choreographer. But the fact is that film and Broadway choreographer Jack Cole was most likely the first person to form a jazz dance movement style that was suitable for concert and expressive choreography. He broke through the rigid mindset of how dances were conceived and filmed in Hollywood in the 1940s. He honed his nightclub dance group into the finest jazz dance performing group known at that time. He pushed the boundaries of film and Broadway dance, making room for the later achievements of Jerome Robbins and Bob Fosse. And he was significant in creating the screen personas of a multitude of female movie stars. Jack Cole is a genius in the field of theatrical jazz dance.
Choo-choo, a little pizza round. Chow, chow, chow. A little mozzarella. See, 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 see. Bring on the muscatel. Dance around. Ching, ching. You Would you play that thing?
Four bars. 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, yes, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, yes, 4.
To a choreographer, an empty stage or an empty rehearsal floor where you begin is a rather awesome place, because it's where you begin, where you put your first mark down, where you take your first step. And it's sort of like a painter deciding where to put the first line down on a canvas. It's thrilling. If I know the music, if I have some sense of the sound of the music, I know what's going on. When I'm doing a work that's already written, I study the score, and for months and months prior to the time of actually working on the piece, I play the music constantly, from the moment I get up to the moment I go to sleep. I'll play it while I'm shaving, I'll play it while I'm working around the house. I try to saturate myself with it so there isn't any note or nuance that I miss. That any work that I choreograph has to come out of a collaboration between the dancer and myself. I depend upon them for a certain amount of inspiration. What I try to feed them essentially is, let's say, the key to the work I'm doing. This isn't a question of having them improvise at all. What my instinct as a choreographer is, I will try some steps on them, see how their bodies go, see how their movements go. I don't like to give anything which is awkward or uncomfortable to the dancer. I will give things which is technically demanding.
I don't think you can put something muddled on the stage. And I think that if I am clear with the material, then it will be clear to the audience. It's that, in a way, almost that simple. If I go into it deep enough, if I'm really with it, and can get to my feelings about it, then usually it's clear to the audience.
Frankly, West Side Story is the kind of theater that I've been working for my whole life. It is the combination of all the highest arts: music, words, singing, dancing, painting, color, lights, theatrical effects, all toward something serious, not toward just having fun in the theater. I know that one of the things I work for so hard is to find the best way to communicate the clearest thing to the audience, so that the audience will receive the same impact, or the strongest impact, whether it's a comedy point, a nuance, that it is clear to them. If it's not clear to them, why all this bother? It's no good doing it for yourself.
I like to see bodies in movement in time and in space, and to see the relationships between them, to see what happens between people together. And there's a joy to me to be able to build something, to be able to create something, starting from the empty volume of a room or a stage, and putting movement into it, and seeing what happens as you develop that movement.
I think that jazz is probably a universal language. It touches all races. It explodes. It's like a major city. If you're listening to the L go by and it's going click, 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 it's the rhythm of the city. If you go downtown into Michigan Avenue, you hear the buses go by, you hear all of the sounds. This is all a part of jazz.
Gus Giordano created jazz dance.
Gus Giordano is one of the pioneers of jazz dance. He really is one of the first to go out there and not just do a couple of moves in a jazzy style, but to codify his own technique.
You step back to the left foot, you go into jazz hand. Keep the arm away from the head. Keep it three-dimensional. You go to a side stretch. You come into chest port rock. You go to S curve to here. Now you walk around starting on the left foot.
Gus was a very warm but very charismatic and energetic person and dancer.
Teaching, I think, was his passion because he wanted to spread dance everywhere, and that's what he did. He went around the country, around the world, and just taught anyone.
Elbow goes back. You come to the back of the hand. You circle out, and then you stretch up.
The only way to pass on his vision and his technique was by teaching. He was very aware that life is short and his time would be short, and being able to teach himself, and so it was really important to him to share it with other people.
On one hand, jazz dance is truly a discipline requiring the same fierce dedication one expects in ballet, but jazz dance emancipates the soul. It frees the spirit. It rebels against convention. And the dancer must be able to present that, well, it's like the Duke said. It don't mean a thing if it ain't got that swing.
Thank you, Gus Giordano.
When I first met him, he auditioned to be a dancer in movies, and he had no idea he was going to be a choreographer. And in my opinion, he was going to be as good a song and dance man as Kelly and Astaire. I thought, Fosse, this guy is going to be it.
Fosse's distinctive style was evident from the first musical he choreographed, The Pajama Game.
Who's got the pain when they do the mambo? Who's got the pain when they go up? Who's got the pain when they do the mambo? I don't know who. Do you?
Over the next 2 decades, Fosse refined his signature style.
I suppose if you repeat something enough times, it's called a style, you know. I started with hats because I began losing my hair very early. And I've always been slightly round-shouldered, and so I started to exaggerate that. And I don't have what the ballet dancers call a turnout. So I started turning my feet in, and I guess that's the style they talked about.
When you see his work, you know immediately that it's Fosse. Like if you see a Picasso, you know that it is Picasso. The lowering of the shoulders, the curved shoulder, the small pelvis work.
We see his legacy living today. We see it in the film Chicago. We see it in the show Fosse. We see it everywhere. You see it in fashion, you see it on television, you see it in commercials. You see people every now and then with a black hat or so that doing his style. That's the mark of a true artist.